At this point in the CAX series of lessons, we need to take what I've described in previous lessons as a side trip. In other words, we need to go away from the main thrust of the project. In order to learn something we need to know in order to come back and insert that newfound knowledge in the project. It's sort of like an orbit away from the project, which hopefully comes back to the project and we don't lose the gravitational pull and just start drifting off into outer space. This side trip specifically involves the C# custom controls. So we'll create a new C# project. Call it custom controls. Drag the form to be larger. And give the form a meaningful name. Like FRM custom controls. And maybe some meaningful title bar text like test of custom controls. And now the first control we want to look at is the split container, and that's in the containers section of the toolbox. So when we drag that over, you notice the first thing that happens is the form breaks up into two panels. The one on the left is called panel 1 and the one on the right is called panel 2. And as this is right now, it's just like the Windows Explorer interface. You'd have a tree view in panel 1 and you'd have a list view in panel 2. But for our purposes, we actually want 3 panels. So we'll come over and drag another split container over into panel 2. And you notice this now has 3 vertical panels. But what we really want is a vertical panel on the left and then 2 horizontal panels on the right. So we come over to the Properties window and come down to the orientation and switch the orientation to horizontal. So now I have 3 panels, a vertical and 2 horizontal. I'll drag this down so these are a little more equal sized. And the controls we want to put in here, we want a tree view in panel 1. Of the main panel. So drag a tree view over and drop it here, and then in the common task pop-ups we want to say doc and parent container, so that now fills the entire parent container. And then in the top panel on the right we want a list view, so we drag that over. And once again select the common task pop-up and say doc and parent container, so that fills the whole container. And finally in the bottom right panel we want a rich text box, so we drag that over, select the common tasks pop-up and say doc and parent container. And now we basically have a split container with all the controls that we're going to ultimately use. So if I do a save and a compile and run, You see our form looks pretty empty, but you can do things like adjust the size of the split container, and once we start adding controls, this will look a lot like the Express or the Windows Mail type interface, where you have the tree view over here and the list of messages, and you click on the message in the tree view and you see that message down in the detailed view here. Well, I hope you learned a lot from this lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson where we start to talk about the details of the tree view control. Remember, focus and learn a lot.